And please begin.
Hi everyone, thanks for coming tonight. My name is Gabby Koenig, and for my topic I chose to focus on the ineffectiveness of standardized testing. So my thesis is that the current U.S. standardized testing protocol cannot be considered legitimate because it focuses on the financial benefits of testing for the educational market over that of the personal benefits for students. It unethically treats students as products instead of consumers, and it focuses on the philosophy of teaching to the test. Therefore, the current policy should be reformed to incorporate qualitative data in order to more accurately fulfill its legal purpose. And so the purpose of standardized testing is to fulfill the criteria of the No Child Left Behind Act, which was passed in 2001. And the goal of the No Child Left Behind Act is to define and identify what is considered failing schools as a way to research which educational programs most effectively teach students the fundamental academic skills of reading, writing, mathematics, and organization. So in other words, the mission of the No Child Left Behind Act is to address the question, how do students learn best? So teaching for the test is an educational philosophy used widely across America because of its easy application to standardized testing. Its curriculum focuses on preparing students for standardized testing by implementing drill and skill activities, which is the repetitive practice of test-like material in order to instill basic skills or concepts that will be found on the test into a student's memory. So theoretically, standardized testing and teaching to test are compatible because teaching to the test allows students to rehearse answering test-like material. And however, it's found that students taught under this form of education tend to lack understanding because drill and skill activities focus on rote memorization and neglect the abstract and creative thinking processes. And so in the paper, the effects of high-risk test taking on achievement, the preliminary findings of generalization across tests, it was found that students taught under teaching the test, when asked the question, what is 87 minus 24, 83% of them were able to answer correctly. However, when asked to explain their answer, only 66% were able to provide the correct response, thus showing a lack of comprehension. Therefore, even though a student's scores may suggest that they are proficient, they can still lack a complete understanding of fundamental academic skills. So, in order for us to more accurately depict the quality of a student's learning process, it's necessary that we understand how students learn. And so, John Locke, who is an renowned philosopher from the 1600s, says that we are all born as blank slates, which essentially means that we're all born without any preconceived notions or ideas, and that we learn through experience. And he divides experience into two separate categories, that of sensation and that of reflection, as you can see in this diagram here. And so sensation is interpreting the outside world in order to better understand a new topic, and it focuses on tangible objects and their characteristics. Whereas reflection is the internal process of interpreting thoughts, feelings, and emotions, such as abstract concepts such as love or freedom, in order to explain why someone may come up with a certain perception about the world. And so we can apply Locke's theory of basic human understanding to standardized testing in order to more accurately depict its legal purpose. And so another philosopher who will help us more accurately depict the legal purpose of standardized testing is Jean-Jacques Rousseau, who is known for his philosophies on the educational environment. And he focuses on how the educational goal is not to teach students the habit of memorizing material, which he calls forced habits, or habits that are imposed upon students by their teachers. Instead, he says that we should undergo natural habits, which is when a student is free of influence and is able to self-regulate their thoughts in order to create conclusions independently. And so we can apply this to standardized testing in order to create qualitative criteria that more accurately depicts the role of which educational program most effectively teaches students fundamental academic skills. And so another reason why it's important that we reform the standardized testing protocol is because the fact that it now focuses on quantitative data makes it more susceptible to corruption. In fact, between 2002 and 2008, it was found that states spend between $1.9 billion and $5.3 billion implementing state standardized testing into their schools. However, if you were to look, you would not find a correlation between the amount of money implemented into providing standardized testing and the actual results of the test, because in 2011, it was found that nearly 82% of schools in the US were considered failing. So this shows that, that the corruption in the educational market is very great because it focuses on the financial benefits of the education market over that of the personal benefits of students. And so Diane Ravitch attempts to address this corruption. However, before I continue, I just want to mention that she may hold some political bias because of her Democratic background, but she is still accredited for her work in the Bush cabinet. And so Diane Ravitch says that because standardized testing focuses on quantitative data instead of qualitative data, it changes the purpose of standardized testing so that students are no longer the consumers of the educational programs that is being provided to them, but are used as products and are used to sell the educational programs to other schools across America. And so she says, in order to fix this corruption, we must alter the program to focus on qualitative data so that we focus on what is actually happening within the classroom and not get caught up in just the numbers and the statistics behind test scores. So in conclusion, the current U.S. standardized testing policy cannot be considered legitimate because it does place the financial benefits of students, or of the educational market, over the personal benefits of students, and it unethically treats students as products instead of consumers. It also emphasizes the use of teaching to the test, which cannot be considered a legitimate educational philosophy. So in order for us to more accurately depict No Child Left Behind Act's goal, we must alter the current U.S. standardized testing protocol to address the qualitative criteria that both Locke and Rousseau addressed in their philosophies on human understanding and the educational learning environment.
Thanks, Gabby. For your first oral defense question, how valid and reliable are the sources that you used? How do you know, and which sources did not work?
So when I addressed this, I had to be very careful of political biases, as you can see when I addressed the Ravitch slide, because it's still a very controversial ideal right now, and it has a lot of politics behind it. And so when I was doing this, I had to make sure that I looked at the law itself, the No Child Left Behind law itself, in order for me to interpret it on my own and not have any political biases influence me. Also, I used very well-known philosophers, such as Locke and Rousseau, when analyzing different criteria that can be created for the analyzation of how well a student's learning process is.
Great. Your second question. What additional questions emerged from your research, and why were these questions important?
Well, so this is actually an interesting question, because when I very first started this research, I thought that the purpose of standardized testing was to evaluate how smart a student is, which is a common misconception across America because of the corruption within the system. However, when I looked at the actual laws, I found that the purpose of U.S. standardized testing was not this at all, but it was simply to find which forms of education best teach students fundamental academic learning skills.
Great. Thank you very much. Good job.
Gabby, you were well within time.
Me.